yeah, that will be the announcement for all. And let's welcome Pastor Mark.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good to be here, and I'm sure you are very, very happy that I'm back. And can you check the mic for me? Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, anyways, so today I have two parts. The first part is I will talk about my experience going to California. It's a heck of a trip, you know. So we spent 2 weeks. I take a long break from the church, 2 weeks, and then we traveled to California, and it was a very exhausting trip, very exhausting. And I'll tell you why. This is the first part, and then the second part is I'll tell you what my spiritual reflection is during this crazy trip. All right. So you remember December 25th, Christmas Sunday, right? Remember that, right? We had a big celebration here. And then we had baptism, and we had the luncheon, and then we played the white elephant game, right? So it was such a fun, right? And then we finished it in about 1-ish or almost 2 o'clock, and we depart from this place. And because our flight, flying from Chicago to Phoenix, is going to take off around 5:45 p.m. So I still had some time. So my whole family actually. They all left already after the Christmas program. And then I was the only one at the church. And I was rushing myself and just wrap up some stuff. And then I went home. I didn't pack at all. So all my 3 family members, they have already packed. And then I went home. In such a hurry, I tried to, pack my clothing, pack all my essentials into my suitcase. So December 25th, right? And then around 2 o'clock, 2:30, I keep checking my Southwest app, finding out, my first flight from Chicago to Phoenix, what time is departing. Because my friends and my family members in California are reminding me, are you sure your flight is departing on time? Please check your flight. So I keep checking, and it was okay at 5:45, and then a little bit later, got delayed for 15 minutes. And then later on, got delayed for 30 minutes. So it was good. It was all good because I was in such a rush, right? I don't want to forget something, right? So give me some time, and almost an hour delay. And then I sensed that it's going to be a trouble, right? It's going to be trouble. Because I checked the phone app, and then I go to the website, Southwest, to check my flight departure schedule, and they don't match. So amazingly, they don't match. And then I was talking to some of my friends and relatives in California. Hey, maybe my flight is going to be delayed. Now, that's a problem because I'm flying to Phoenix, and then there's a layover less than an hour, and then connecting flight from Phoenix to Sacramento, right? So if the first leg got delayed, then I would not be able to catch the second leg, right? So I talked to Nathan, Rachel, and Wendy. I said, we got to go to the airport physically to go to the counter and check the ticket, right? Or we may have to rebook the ticket. So we have Ivan, one of our neighbors, have us drop off at the airport about 3:30. Right? Remember, my first leg was originally departing 5:45 p.m. So we were there 2 hours before, and then we got dropped off at the sidewalk. And then I walk into the departure hall, going to the Southwest counter. If you go inside, it was a long line of almost 300, 400 people. They were waiting to go to the Southwest counter and have their tickets rebooked, right? So we got in line, 3:30, and then wait. The line is moving so slow because the counter has only 3 or 4 people working. And then we waited, I tell you, we waited for almost 4-5 hours. And almost the counter is in sight, right? Almost the counter is in sight. And then one of the managers stepped up and shouted out loud and said, sorry, computer crash. And you have to wait for a little bit more. And I said to myself, it's going to be it's going to be a big trouble for me, right? There's no way I can catch the second leg, right? And then it's a huge line in front of me. And then I keep checking all the Southwest flights. Almost all of them got delayed, or many of them got canceled. And my own flight keep delaying, right? 5:45 to 6 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock, and then 9 p.m., right? So by the time we got to the counter, it was almost 9 p.m., right? Almost 9 p.m., something like that. It was 8 p.m., something like that. It was a long wait. During the wait, I was like, there was no way I can get the second leg, right? So my decision was whether I would catch the first leg and go to Phoenix, right? And going to Phoenix for what, right? So I was doing my research on my phone and see if we can just fly to Phoenix and then, just figure out what to do next, right? So I was trying to figure out what to do. And I text Joyce, one of our pastoral staff is in Phoenix. And then I was doing some research on, the distance. How long does it take from driving from Phoenix all the way to Sacramento? So I was doing some research, and I've done my research, and I talked to my family members, my daughter, my son, my wife. And I called them out and said, I have a crazy idea. And the crazy idea is, we're going to fly to Phoenix, and then we're going to rent a car. We're going to drive to Las Vegas, and then we're going to stay over there. And then we're going to drive from Las Vegas all the way up north to Sacramento. It was a long drive. So I did my research. It's about 15 hours of driving. And then there's a midpoint we can stop at Las Vegas. So I asked them, this is my crazy idea. Are you up for it? And you know what they said? They said, let's go. Let's go. So we went to the counter and talked to the lady and said, hey, just let us fly to Phoenix. And then she was questioning us, what are you going to do in Phoenix? Hey, no problem. We have a good friend there, and we're going to stay overnight there, and we'll figure out what to do. So we fly to Phoenix, and then finally, by the time we bought the plane, it was I think almost 11 p.m., right? Almost midnight. And we were in the airport for 9 hours already, almost 9 hours. And I went to the gate, and it was chaotic, right? Yeah, James was there too, right? It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm happy to see James, but, I'm sad that, we got stuck right there, right? And then there were a lot of people I overheard, their flight got delayed, and then finally canceled. And they got to go home. So I was praying that my flight would be okay, and then we will fly to Phoenix. So by the time we bought the plane, it was almost midnight, and we were ready for a 3.5-hour flight from Chicago to Phoenix. So we arrived at Phoenix Airport. It was about 3 a.m., I think, 3 a.m. So we got off the plane and went to the baggage claim, and with a high expectation that we will get our suitcases, right? And then the bell started rolling. There's only a few bags there, and our bags were not found. They were not being sent to Phoenix. They didn't follow us. So another long line, we go to the Southwest baggage claim and try to find out where our bags are. And it turns out our bags did not follow us. They stayed in Chicago. So we're separated from our suitcases. And 3 a.m., 4 a.m. At Phoenix, luckily, fortunately, we had our hand carry with one set of clothing, our essentials, in our hand carry, so we can live by, with just the minimum. So we were pretty sad, We went to the car rental and went to the parking lot. It was kind of scary because 3 a.m., 4 a.m., there's nobody there, and there are not many cars. I guess there are so many stranded travelers, they were trying to rent their own cars, right? So the car rental guy said to me, you know, I'm sorry, we don't have the standard size you requested, but we have a free upgrade for you. Yeah, a free upgrade for you. Okay, that's great. And then he said a number of brand, a number of different models of cars, and I heard Camry. Okay, I'll take Camry. It turns out it's a new Camry. All right, so we hopped into the car and drove to Joyce, and we spent a day in Phoenix. With all the trouble, I think it was a blessing, to see some friends, and to visit Abby, and had a good time there. So it was great. And then after a day in Phoenix, we decided to drive all the way from Phoenix to Las Vegas. Now this is a crazy idea, but I think it's a very good idea, right? Because Rachel and Nathan, they've never been to Las Vegas. Yeah, why not, right? We go to Sin City at a stop in our trip, and so much fun, right? So we got to the hotel. It's a big hotel, and again, it was a long line, because I guess all the stranded travelers were looking for a place to stay. So we waited in line for an hour, and finally we got our room keys. And it was pretty tiring, pretty exhausting. But hey, we are in Las Vegas. We could have some fun. And so finally we were there. I did not gamble, because the whole trip is a gamble, right? Because the whole trip is already a gamble. It was crazy. We got to Las Vegas, and then, took some pictures, but we were really, really tired. We were really tired. But we had to go on, right? So I think Tuesday afternoon, we decided to drive all the way from Las Vegas to Sacramento, right? So we drove to Bakersfield, north of Los Angeles, and then all the way up I-5 to Bay Area and Northern California. That's how the trip was, and it was a really tough drive, because it just happened during that week. California was hit by huge rainstorms, and we were almost in every hour driving in heavy rain, and it was crazy. I remember there was a hilly portion of the highway near Bakersfield in Southern California. It was a very mountainous region, and I had to turn, twist up and down, and it was at night, and I could not see the lane line, Now, my kids can tell you, if I drive below the speed limit, it was pretty scary drive, right? When I drive slow, it was scary. When I drive faster, it was okay, right? I couldn't see a line because, I'm getting old as well, right? And then I turned on the lane detection on the Camry. Hopefully it will help me to steer the turn, right? And the lane detection did not work, because it was so dark. Even technology cannot see it, right? Oh, it was crazy. But finally we arrived at Sacramento, and it was nice. Sorry for the picture, not the best picture, but as I told you, I usually don't take long breaks from my work, from church. Some brothers and sisters, they are really caring about my well-being. They always ask me and tell me, hey, Pastor, why don't you take a long break, right? Yeah, I know why I don't take long breaks. Now I know, right? Because once I take a long break, this is a crazy break, right? But in that 2 weeks, I think it was still a blessing. It was still a blessing because I see all the friends and relatives. We had a good time, and there were also some people I have met online before, and I have never seen them. I was able to have a meal with them and to talk to them. So it was such a blessing to see all the friends and family together. I think every gathering, every moment that we can see each other, see some of the friends and relatives was a blessing. every single moment I enjoyed it, even though it was exhausting. During the whole week, I was constantly reminded of one single passage in the Bible. It is in the letter of James, chapter 4. Chapter 4. Chapter 4, 13. Look here, you who say, today or tomorrow we are going to a certain town and will stay there a year. We will do business there and we will make a profit. How do you know what your life will be like tomorrow? Your life is like morning mist. It is here for a little while and it will be gone. Now, this is the passage I keep reminding myself during the entire journey. James, as a pastor, he was writing this letter to the brothers and sisters who are scattered because of persecution in the church in the first century. And reminding them, or even confronting some of the people in the congregation who had a wrong attitude toward life and toward God. You notice here in this short verse, James is quoting some of the rich guys in the congregation who are so resourceful. They are merchants, they probably are traveling merchants in those days. And notice how he quotes them, saying, we will go, we will stay, we will do business, and we will make a profit. He was confronting these people who thought they control, that they are in charge of their lives. And with this confrontation, James is saying to the people, you are not in charge, so be humble. We are not in charge of our own life. Every single moment is all by the grace of God. Right? This whole trip, I really learned this lesson. It didn't mean I didn't know before, but it was just a personal experience that is telling me God is the one who is in charge. God is sovereign, and we are simply stewards. We are simply servants. So maintain a constant spirit of humility, to fear God, to know that He is the one in charge. We were in Las Vegas and walking on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, right? Have you ever been to Las Vegas? No? Maybe you should go, yeah. Wow. Maybe you should go. Go to Las Vegas, not to gamble, but to just walk around. So we were in Hollywood Boulevard and walking the Walk of Fame. And you see all the stars on the street, right? And with the famous people, the name, engraved on the walk, right? I saw this one, Elvis Presley. Ring any bell? Huh? Presley. His daughter just died, just passed away last week. All of a sudden, 54 years old. You think about your life. Think about how our life is like what James says. It's like a morning mist. We were in San Francisco for a trip, and it was a rainy day. It was cool and foggy. San Francisco is always like that. You go to the beautiful Golden Gate Bridge. Just mist and fog will just come by and then we'll be gone. This is exactly what James is talking about. What did he say? Your life is like morning mist. You cannot hold on to it. You cannot control it, because it comes and it will be gone. We cannot control many things in our lives. We can't even control the weather, right? People in Chicago should know that, our weather is unpredictable, right? Even our economy, especially after COVID, is kind of unpredictable. There's no way you can be in charge of every single thing, right? I saw this picture a couple days ago. The best Valentine gift is to give eggs, right? Because the price of egg It's going up and down. It's in an unpredictable way. Now, James is not against our human responsibility. No, we are stewards of our time. You are steward of opportunities, resources God has given you. But what he's confronting is the wrong attitude toward life, toward God. What James is confronting is the wrong, misplaced attitude toward life. Thinking that we can be in control. And the Bible says, hold on. Life is unpredictable, and life is full of mystery. So you better recognize who is in charge. And God himself is in charge. 4:15. What you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and do this or that. Otherwise, you're boasting about your own plans. And such boasting is evil. And remember, it is sin to know what you ought to do and yet not do it. The right attitude toward life is to fear God, to acknowledge that God is in charge. He's directing your path, not you. You simply follow. Now, the letter of James is like a lot of wisdom literature in the Old Testament, like Book of Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, wisdom literature. Now, what is wisdom literature? Wisdom literature is telling us how to live our life under the will of God. To fear God is the foundation of life wisdom. To fear God is to relate to God properly. And we relate to God properly and in Christ. Through Christ, we relate to God as our Father, and we are his children. And one of the main points in the letter of James is that you have to figure out, you have to make sure you have the right relationship with your Creator, your Lord. And you are the follower. And you follow the sovereign will of God. Last Monday night, we had our English team, leadership team meeting together. And one of the conversations that we had was we were all drivers. And we used to teach someone else how to drive, right? So we had kind of sharing our own, frightening experience, right? Teaching a new driver how to drive, right? Have you ever done anything like that? You're an experienced driver and you teach someone else how to drive, and you are in the passenger seat, and the new person is in the driver's seat, right? How do you feel? You feel out of control, right? You feel out of control. Because you can only control the car with your voice command, right? And sometimes the new driver doesn't listen to you. So it's kind of scary. But think about it. If the driver is an experienced driver, someone you can trust, then your experience will be totally different, right? Have you ever been in my car? Right? Do you feel safe in my car? Or you feel dangerous, right? You feel dangerous, right? But a different kind of danger, right? Different kind of danger. It's not because of inexperience, right? Because of experience, right? But think about it. If the driver is totally trustworthy, then your experience will be totally pleasant, right? God is in the driver's seat. God is the driver. He is the Creator. He is our loving Lord, right? He is taking control. And we are in the passenger seat. And when you can trust God totally, and He is indeed trustworthy, then we in the passenger seat will say and will pray, take me according to your will. And we will go to the destination, right? Yes, there were different turns, there are different corners, ups and downs during the journey. However, the driver who is trustworthy, our God himself, will bring you to the destination. That is what James is talking about, right? The sovereignty of God. Again, it's not saying we do not need to take responsibilities of our own affairs. You're a business owner, you have to be faithful. because you're a steward. You are a worker in your workplace. You are to be faithful. You're a family member, you have to be faithful. This is all about spiritual stewardship, human responsibilities. However, we have to recognize that God is in control. God is in control. Let me close with a quote from Charles Spurgeon. He's one of the well-known preachers 100 years ago. He talks about the sovereignty of God. He said, when you go through a trial in your life, the sovereignty of God is the pillow upon which you can lay your head. It's comforting to know that the driver of our life is God himself, not us. But as we figure out the right relationship with God, we are in the passenger seat. We follow his will and be humble always before him and follow and seek the will of God. Now, I hope this lesson will be your lesson as well. As you go through the journey of life, probably not as crazy as the 2 weeks that I experienced with Southwest Airlines. So thank you, Southwest Airlines. But, you know, we all go through up and down, right? And twists and turns in our own life. But do remember the sovereignty of God. He is guiding you. And your lesson and my lesson is to obey and to seek and follow his will. Well, let's all pray together. And I want you to have a moment to bring your concern before our God, before your God. What is it that you are thinking? What kind of decisions you are facing? Or maybe some uncertainties in your life. Maybe you're praying for something or seeking something in your life. Bring your concern before our loving God, and then we'll close in prayer. Dear God, we thank you because you are sovereign. You are the one who is in charge. All of our concerns, all our cares, we bring before you, knowing that your will is always the best will. In our journey of life, we have ups and downs and twists and turns. Yet we come before you knowing that your will is sovereign. And you are not only sovereign, you are our loving God. And you are the one who is guiding our path, giving us guidance and wisdom. And help us to be humble, to follow your will. And we praise you because this is who you are. And you are a great and sovereign God. And help us serve you and worship you and follow your will. In Christ's name we pray. Well, God bless you, and I want to see you next Sunday for the Bag of Blessing. You need to come early and have some time of fellowship together.